Alright, 1994 Chevy Silverado 2500. It's got the 350 TBI. Obviously predates the Vortex series. Anyhow, 94 3/4 ton Silverado. We got a brake leak. 142.6 on the clock approximately. Not too terrible. It's the extended cab, long bed version. Standard rust belt. Master cylinder is fine. Brake leak has been located and verified at the rear axle. So let's go there. As you can see, we've already got the rear tire and wheel off, rear left side removed, expose the axle. Truck is securely supported on heavy duty jack stands. Got some really decent rust here, but the leak is on the line that goes to the left rear. As you can see, someone's already been here in the past, but this line is still original. The leak is right there. Obviously corroded and shot from where it splits. So we have to see if we can't remove that piece and just replace this little piece here. I've already given it some soak, given me some trouble previously, so we've let it soak for a while. Let's see what happens, how far we have to go. Okay, so where we're at, one of my favorites here, the old map gas. Got the torch here. What we've done is we've heated up this piece back here, fitting, gave it some heat, gave it some juice, and actually ended up twisting. The fitting was affixed to the end of the line so hard that actually twisted the whole line and it just corroded apart, which actually made it quite a bit easier, which was what I was going to do anyway if I had to, was just cut the line and put a box end on there. But as you can see, twisted, fitting was seized and twisted off, so we put a box end on and just got it done. Even better if you have a flex head. This is a 14mm, ratcheted right off. So now where we are at is just getting that fitting off without completely destroying the flex piece or anything else there at the T. So that's probably gonna just corrode right away and come off just like that did. So now we're gonna keep that so we know what to match it to, but we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put a little heat on that piece and see if we can't twist it off. Otherwise we would have had to go a lot deeper. Obviously you can see someone's been there. This is part of the vent here in the old, and then someone's replaced that side previously in the past. Hopefully we'll get this new piece on here and make it look a little bit better than that, but we'll do what we can. But this is again a 94 rust bucket, obviously work truck only, just about ready for the scrap heap, honestly, the way the condition this stuff is in. But regardless, enough babbling. Let's get some heat on that, see if we can't get that off, and then we'll take it to the next step. Got some heat on there. We'll spritz it. The old spritzer. Obviously the main goal there was to not damage any of the rubber rubber pieces around here, so had to get a special angle on the flame, see if it worked. Apologize if it's a little shaky. I can't fit the tripod under here with me. So it broke loose with a normal box end. We're going to put the old flex set on there. Fortunately that worked without completely destroying everything else. So box end wrenches. Obviously your first option is the flare wrench. If that doesn't work, you use the box end. Now that we've broken it loose with the box end, I'm going to use the ratcheting wrench. Take this one the rest of the way out. And what we have to do is get a new line, fit it, and screw it in. Obviously the new piece will be a lot easier. This isn't as much of an issue on newer vehicles as this old rust bucket, but that's what we're here for, fix them up. Alright, so we've got this straight piece which is already comes with both flares on it, which is nice. It's about 3 feet, which is a little bit longer than we need here, but honestly I'm not a huge fan of flaring, and as this is a work truck, this will do just fine for this application. I don't think you want to watch me spend half an hour bending and flaring just to forget one of the fittings probably anyway. So we're going to take this old piece, basically just try to mirror it with this new one. We'll get as close as we can, and that will be good enough for this trusty rusty 94 Chevy. Start with this end. This is just standard 3/16 steel brake line. There's lots of ways to do this. This is going to be pretty primitive. Beautiful, but so the first bend is so tight. Really, we're going to try to mark where we want this. Okay, you can see finished piece installed here. Nothing beautiful, absolutely nothing to be proud of, but it's installed, bent, and plenty of clearance. Can't really tell between there and the leaf spring and back of the drum backing plate. There it is. They're all bled out. There's a new. It looks dinged up. It actually is just. Okay, so there's been a slight change in plans here since you last saw the shot here. Both sides on the flex line have been removed. It actually got that line in there. It's bleeding out, one bleed. Turns out flex line was leaking at the juncture, so slow leak there. Removed both sides and the extension piece up along the frame rail. So placed it Got a new Dorman flex piece. Nice 1/4 inch line and two 3/16 pieces pre-flared, because why not if you can get them the right length. So that is kind of the moral of the story of this shot here, or this video. That's what happens when you work on 20-plus-year-old rusty, crusty trusties. Just part of the deal. You end up going further than you anticipated or planned, but rusted, corroded, go as deep as you need to go. Okay, so here we are after the repair. We've got the 2 rear lines hooked up, the flex line hooked up, and the 60-inch 1/4 inch line coming down to it, run along the frame rail there. But here's the bent lines. No need to, well, actually probably quite a need to criticize and make fun of those. They're kind of ridiculous looking. Certainly not an expert or anything like that in the kind of art of bending lines, but they're in there. Everything is hooked up, everything is tightened. We're going to go ahead and proceed with the bleeding process, see if we can't bleed this out a little better yet, and try to get a better shot of the line that's over the gas tank up alongside the frame rail there. We're going to zip tie it. As you can see, someone was in here with first repair and already hacked off the original. That was the second one, and now we've got the third one hooked up there. So that other one, that is just a vent tube for the rear diff, so don't worry about that. There's the brake line. We're going to go ahead and fix that to the frame rail. I'm going to just zip tie it to the frame rail, any other lines in there, zip tie it to the pre-existing bracket there. Once it's all bled out, make sure there's no leaks, but I'm going to wait till after that's done. But there's the other end of the 60-inch line coming out the other side of the frame rail. So give her a bleed, give her a try. And it's also worth noting that definitely, probably almost critical to have the rear wheels off here. Obviously we've got it securely supported on 6-ton jack stands. Yeah, almost impossible to get at those lines with your hands between the leaf spring and the rear of the drum with the back tire on. So you got to kind of come at it over the top. So get that rear wheel tire off, come at it from the top side. We might as well also call this video how to bleed brake lines if you don't have a friend or a neighbor or anyone else available, and you don't have a fancy Phoenix system machine or special vacuum line. Again, this is just a work truck, so we're going to just do a preliminary self-bleed operation. Start with making sure master cylinder is full, topped off, which it's doesn't need much. And drop the cap and hopefully fill it with dirt and get all sorts of dirt and stuff in your braking system. No, just kidding. Try to avoid that. Make sure it's clean. But we're going to go ahead and top this off. Make sure that's full. That'll equalize. And with these old GM versions, I have better luck putting the rubber seal on the cap before putting it on top of the master cylinder. Seems to seal a lot better that way. So now that that's topped off, we're going to start in the furthest wheel away. The front system hasn't been opened up at all. We're just going to try to do the rear here, and if we have to, we'll come all the way around, but we're going to start with the furthest wheel, the right rear, and then the left rear, and see where we're at. So 10 millimeter on the bleeder, build up some pressure, and see what happens. Alright, so we built up as much pressure as we can on the first try. Again, no partner. I am electing to use a hood prop jammed in between the brake pedal, holding it down, keeping that force on it, and the front of the seat here. Alright, so we're on the right rear wheel here in the back of the cylinder. Got a 10mm wrench on the bleeder. We've got a catch pan down below. You can put a little hose on there if you want. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, just depends on the clearance. But in this case, with the corrosion of this vehicle, we're just going to hit it with a little brake clean once we're all done and cleaned up, and let that get in the catch pan, and that'll be just fine for this car. Okay, so change to 10mm box end works a little better just with the configuration of the drum, but preferably any box end is fine on the end of the bleeder. So let's crack it open, see if we get some air coming out. Oh yeah, you can even hear it. Not a lot of room. Alright, so after you've opened the bleeder, let it bleed out, come back, take this off, see if you can't build a little more pressure. And then put the hood prop back in place. A lot of pressure, takes both hands. The prop in, back, try again. Alright, so we hit the bleeder again, take pressure off the pedal, and we're going to go make sure master cylinder is still full here. Back, top it off. Don't want this to go dry. Otherwise you'll have to start all over and you'll never get it bled out. So every couple of times, once or twice, up in the bleeding, go back and forth. This is why it's quite advantageous to have a friend or someone help you out, but this will work. Alright, so we've done it about 5 times back and forth on that side. We've built up pressure again. Master cylinder is still full. Move to the left rear. Crack this one. See what we get. Good air and some dribble. Let's close it. Make sure that's full. Try it again. Looks like this one has a lot less air in it. That's why you start with the wheel furthest away from the master cylinder. Alright, so let's take one last look at this really hacky repair. Is it a little silly? Yes. Is it a little hacky? Yes. But does it work for 20-plus-year-old rust bucket work truck that honestly, if you look at the condition of some of the other components, is questionable to be on the road at best. So for this type of brake line repair, it's absolutely fine. Put this connection right here. Looks awful, but it's as close to the original factory one as possible. So this line with my finger, you can see moves with the axle, so it's going to have just as much flex as the original did. So you want to make sure there had enough movement in the braking system that it needs. so this is going to have as much play, if not a little bit more, than it did from the factory. So not at all concerned about that. Here's that other 60-inch line that was run alongside the frame. Alongside the frame of the gas tank here, and there's the union fitting here. It's the other end of that. This was just flopping around, so did little zip ties. Again, it's ugly, criticize yes, but for this old work truck, it's going to be absolutely fine. Repaired and bled by just one person. So yeah, if that's all you got, you can certainly do it. Bleeding and all. I'm going to put the wheels back on and go for a little test drive. This is kind of cute, by the way. This fell out of the frame rail when I was zip tying. This is part of the original before the repair. This one's from the factory. Look at that brake line. Man, salt does awful things to vehicles. I should move to the south, honestly. Look at that line, though. Just ridiculous. Unfortunate, but that's why we're here. That's why we got this video. Alright, 2-speed impact. Go on low to begin with. Just crisscross. Just to make sure they're lined up. 3/4 ton 8 lug. I'm sure this is very interesting for you. How do you put lug nuts on? You make sure it's square. Once you got them lined up, just put them on, torque them down. No, I'm not using a torque wrench. I'm using a torque stick. 120 foot-pounds is the spec for this truck, and that's what we're going for. Done. 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 Just for good measure, just because there's 8, you want to be sure. Okay, looks like amateur hour, doesn't it? The other side, we're good. I'm not sure what you can all make out here, but just cleaning out the bed. Got the rubber mat. Pulled that out, and just all sorts of fun little brass, some casings, all sorts of fun stuff. Shells in here. I think it's about time to go shooting again. Alright, let's try that test drive. Noisy. Alright. There's some pre-gas lawnmower brass. Oh! That looks nice. Oh, somebody cracked the wheel. I bet we can rebuild this.
Let's go, we'll just go back.
Alright, next up we got the gas can out there. And here's where we're going. Got 1, 2 of those. Put some gas on there, and we both got about 20 tracer rounds each for the ARs, so should be good.